My name is Dmitry Arseniev.
I'm Dan Mahoney.
I'm Biff.
I'm Earl Poe.
Danger Bruss.
This is Tone Stimes, and you're watching Inside Pogo.
What's up, everyone? Today on Inside Pogo, we have Konner Kellogg, the young gun. We have the young guy, the log, second place this year at Pogo Palooza. I don't know much about him, so I'm really excited to learn and super excited to see what he brings to the Pogo world in the future. What you're listening to now in the background is Dalton Smith's band, Kind Magic. Link will be in the description. One song's called Pogo Stick. Dalton will be on Inside Pogo next week. Oh, lastly, you'll hear Turbo whining a little bit in the background. Sorry about that, can't really cut it all out. So with that, sit back and enjoy this conversation with the log. He probably doesn't even know this reference. Log, log, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood. Konner Kellogg. You asked me before we got on camera, how you've been since Pogo Palooza. That was exciting.
Oh, dude, it was really exciting. And I've been doing great. I've just been kind of hibernating during like these winter months. Haven't done much pogoing because North Idaho isn't the very best to pogo during those times. But now that spring is just right around, it's going to be back to the grind, and I'm ready for that.
That's awesome. Your video keeps freezing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm connected to the internet, and it's pretty good internet, so
There we go.
that's kind of...
So North Idaho. How far are you from Mr. Biff?
Like 9 hours. I'm like the tip of Idaho.
Okay.
He's very southern Idaho, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like 30 minutes away from the Canadian border. He's like 10 hours away from the Canadian border.
Yeah, you're super far north. I didn't realize you're that far north.
Yep.
And I guess how old are you?
I turned 18 back in November, so I'm 18 now.
Look at that, the young gun.
Yes, sir. I grew up.
That's insane. So yeah, I didn't realize you were so far north in Idaho. That's what's going on here. Yeah, there's not much going on out there. Does that have anything to do with why you got into pogo sticking?
I would probably say not really. I feel like if I was in any other place, I probably still would have gotten into it. Because like kind of how it happened was I had gotten a pogo stick when I was 7 for Easter. And then I used it for a bit, but then like most things when you're a kid, your attention span just put it away after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But then I came back to it like I was 14. It was the summer of 2017, and I found it hanging up in my garage. And then I was like, since I was older and I had a phone and stuff, I was like, dude, I wonder if there's such thing as pogo stick tricks. So I look it up and I just found the whole X-Pogo Vertigo, and that's where I started.
Awesome. Do you remember like what video you found first?
Yeah, it was Biff's Olbs tutorial. That was the first one that I watched, the little like Olbs tutorial where he's wearing like that pink shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's the first tutorial that I watched. But then I realized that I couldn't just go straight for an Olbs, so then I like dated back and went farther into the tutorial playlist and found like easier stuff to do.
And it's all in the Vertigo tutorials.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those were like the very first ones. Then the very first like actual pogo edit I watched was the NYC Street Slam.
Oh, good. Wow. Those are all.
Yeah, 'cause that just had came out, and then because it was 2017, so like it just had came out, and then I watched it, and then I was like, oh, nice, that's awesome.
That's insane. So yeah, you've definitely been rising up the last couple of years, just coming in hot.
No, yeah, like yeah, it must be weird for you to hear that. That was like the first edit video I watched because like that wasn't honestly that long ago. Like I'm young, I'm so new into this still.
Yeah, when you just said, "Oh yeah, when I was 14, I had to do the math there for a second. I'm like, oh geez, I was already like past my prime. That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah, I got a pogo stick when I was 8, so very similar, but you know, that was in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, mine was 2017. Yeah, I just can't believe that you guys have been like doing this before I was even born. Like it's weird to me because I was born in 2002 and like,
Whoa.
yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah, I think we did the math one time. When I was with Dalton. I think I got a pogo stick the year he was born. Uh,
That's crazy.
it's something like that. I remember I was talking about it. It's like, wow. So yeah, I've been doing it a hot minute for sure.
What was that? Was that like a one of those like fly bar or moon, like a moon pogo or something?
So
A
I
pogo stick?
I had a Pogo-Roo was my first pogo stick. A bright yellow Pogo-Roo. I have it downstairs in the basement. Good old Pogo-Roo. What was your first pogo stick?
It was a Foam Master,
Nice.
so still pretty new because those things are
It's the
still relevant.
it's the upgraded version of the Pogo-Roo.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen a Pogo-Roo. It's just all plastic. The handlebars are just
yeah. I haven't seen it.
they just tear your hands out if you hold on to it.
You know, I know. Yeah, well, actually, so my sister had gotten the Foam Master. I had the little Maverick, like the
Mm.
tinier one, but then that one just completely broke. And so then, since I was older, I just used hers. So technically, it was actually my sister's pogo stick that I used, and that's how I got into pogo sticking.
And then when did you get your first Vertigo? I'm assuming.
Dude, I got my first Vertigo April of 2018. I didn't start using a Vertigo till April 2018. So I've only been using a Vertigo for like almost 3 years. That's it.
That's insane.
Yeah, I used the spring pogo stick for like a year. Like I was on the grind, like I was using the Foam Master, then I got a Super Pogo or a GG from Earl,
Hmm.
and then I was using that. And then yeah, it wasn't until April of 2018 that I got my first Vertigo. And
So,
that, oh man, yeah.
how long did you have a Super Pogo before?
Um, I got that one, I think it was winter of 2018, so I only had it for like months until
Okay.
I got the Vertigo. So they were pretty close.
You did a very accelerated version of all us old people because we had whatever pogo stick, and then we all wanted the GG. Then we had the GG for a couple of years, and then like the flybar finally came out. So like we slowly made that transition. You kind of just did it in 6 months.
Yeah, I just matched it. I was like, all right, here's this one, here's that one, and now I'm here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been
And
really fun.
what's been your favorite thing so far? Just kind of being newer in the community.
Oh, definitely the community as a whole. Like, not even really like the pogoing, don't get me wrong, the pogoing's fun, freaking love it, but you guys are what makes it just so much better. Like when I got to finally meet the first actual stunt team pogoers,
Hmm.
which was Tone and Russ, that was like a whole new world, dude. That was a whole new world. Because like they were doing a gig in the summer of 2018 and it was the Idaho State Fair, and that was like that's in Coeur d'Alene. That's really close to me, so
Hmm.
just had my dad drive me out there. And I even told Tone, like I texted him on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I heard you guys were doing a gig." And like this is before we really knew each other
Yeah.
or didn't really know each other that well. So he's all like, "Okay," and I'm
Cool.
like, "I'm just gonna show up." Yes, I just met them.
Did you bring a pogo with you?
Yeah, dude, I brought the large that I had. It was medium tube, large shaft, because
Nice.
that was the first one I got. And then the whole time though, I was like using Tone's little ripper because I really wanted to use that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Except I almost did get kicked out of that fair because the only pogoers that were allowed to pogo there were the ones doing the gig because you
Hmm.
know you have to sign a bunch of this stuff. And so this lady comes out and she's all like, "Oh, hey, you're not a part of their group. Like you're not allowed to do that." And I was like, "Oh, whatever. I'm a resilient kid." Like,
Oh, that's so funny. What did
yeah.
what did like Tone and Russ do when you walked up with like a Vertigo?
D- Um, So they like or no, they walked up to me. So sitting down kind of like where the stunt thing was like gonna be.
Hmm.
And I think they were like at their little like shed place where they were hanging out. And so I was just like sitting there and then all of a sudden like I just hear like somebody like call my name. I look back and there's two of the dudes, Tone and Russ, walking up with their pogo sticks and I'm just like, "Oh," had the fattest smile on my face. Oh, dude, lit up my day. But yeah, it was awesome.
What was that? What was that? experience like? Sorry, I'm just making sure that's plugged in right. What was that experience like? Just
Dude,
like seeing these people that you've seen videos of.
surreal, dude. It was super surreal. Like it felt fake, man. Like I was literally like, am I dreaming? Like I never thought I would actually meet them, especially that soon, because I
Mhm.
just had gotten my vertigo, and then it was just that summer that I was like, okay, I'm going to meet two of the dudes. But even like what's crazy is even by then, like since I got my vertigo in April of 2018, and
Mhm.
then I brought the vertigo there in the summer of 2018, I already knew how to do like stuff like stick flip, McGrizz, like all that on the vertigo. Like I was only using it for like a couple months.
That's insane. That's gonna be my next question. Like, what tricks did you know? I'm sure that like impressed them really quick. It was like, oh, this kid actually knows what he's
Oh,
doing.
yeah, I was trying, so like I was practicing for Michael Mina's like squeegee,
Mm-hmm.
and so I hadn't gotten it yet, but I could land in Windex, which is like where you land kind of in like
Mm-hmm.
that reverse. And so I was before I even knew how to do squeegee or anything, I was doing like 180 bar spin and 360 bar spin, landing like I would do 3 bar and then land in Windex. And Tones just like looks at Russ and he's like, "How the hell is this kid doing that?" I was
That's exactly what Tone sounds like too. I could see Tone saying that.
yeah,
What
yeah. Um, yeah, let's see. Like the first couple of tricks. Well, like how far do you want me to go back? Like,
was
you
your
want me to
first
talk
like big
about like
trick, like on the vertigo that you learned? Like, what was your
on the
experience? I guess going
no
from
foot cannonball,
no foot.
no foot
That was your
cannonball.
first trick on the Jeez.
Or wait, like first big trick was no
Okay.
foot cannonball. I would say the first trick when I like so I knew how to do a bunch of stuff on like the GG and the
Mm-hmm.
uh, Foam Master, but the new one that I learned when I got the Vertigo that I couldn't do on the GG or Foam Master, I'm pretty sure it was. Oh no, no, it must have been no foot cannonball because I knew how to do a Mick Grizz on the Foam Master. I knew how to do like an Olbs. Yeah, it was no foot cannonball. I'm
That's
gonna go with
insane.
that.
What was your experience like switching from like the GG to like a vertigo? Because it's such a
Oh,
vastly different.
dude.
There's no middle ground.
Oh, yep. The second I stood on the Vertigo, it's like I had to relearn everything. Like even though I was pogoing for a year and I could make Grizz, like do a bunch of all that stuff, like the second I got on the Vertigo, it was like I just went back to square one. I was like, what? Luckily though, since you do have like the muscle memory of the trick, like even though it feels different, you get it a lot easier
Mm-hmm.
on the so it just
The
took like a little bit, but then I was nailing all the tricks again. Then I was learning new stuff.
the exact opposite was what happened for like us, because we when we had the GG and all that, we didn't do all these like big air tricks. It was all like stalls and stuff like low to the ground. But then once we learned it on like the big air, we had a little more time. Everything kind of reverted back to the GG. Like no one was really doing McGrizzes on GGs. Like we started trying them on um, GGs, but I think the first one was landed on a fly bar.
Oh, I get it. So you're saying like you guys did like those bigger tricks on the big air, then you realized you could do it also on like the
Exactly, yeah. Like
yeah,
wraparounds.
well,
Wraparounds are all big air. People do them on like not masters on GGs, no problem now. And like all the flips, it's like all flips aren't possible, but people pretty much every flip has been done on a GG now. People's front flip,
yeah,
back flipped it. Yeah, stick
yeah, Henry.
stick flips and all that. So it's like we learned the muscle memory in the big stick and then applied it to the smaller stick, where you went the exact opposite. You're like, oh, I see all these big tricks. I don't have the big air stick. I'm gonna just learn it on this thing.
No, I'm just gonna do it on the stick that I have right now. Yeah, that's actually exactly how it was. And it was funny because when I was at Palooza for the first time, when we did the GG, like the tech freestyle,
Mm-hmm.
I was just freaking around on the GG. Like I did like a squeegee. I was throwing like a bri flip. Like Tone's like doing all like the actual grinds and like stalls and stuff. I'm just out there doing like a no foot cannonball and a freaking like a
Mm-hmm.
tech stick, and everyone's just like, okay.
That's just a big air run on a tech stick.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So what was your Pogo Palooza experience like? First year was this year, which
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
which
Look,
was
man,
a
it was awesome, man. Like I loved so like I showed up a couple days, or like I showed up Thursday, and the competition I don't think started till it was Saturday and Sunday. So I was
Hmm.
like I showed up 2 days before, and that Thursday night it was like raining, so we did like that super dope office sesh, the
Hmm.
eruption, the Xpogo eruption video, and that was super awesome because like we were just shredding on Little Rippers in the like the office, and that was like the first time I really got to show like my true like ability to all the pogers because like I met a bunch of them there. So like I met like Dalton there, and I totally threw down a 3 bar late stick flip in the office, and I
Hmm.
was just like spreading around. And then Friday it like dried up on like the concrete and stuff, so we were just like doing a little preview of like the course for like me and stuff, and I was just like kind of bouncing around and everything. And then yeah, then the competition started, and man, it got me a little like I was anxious for sure, but definitely I just gave it my all. And I was actually really proud of my final run of the big air freestyle. Like I landed everything that I wanted to do, and I got second place, so I can't like complain at all. It was awesome.
That's
Bunch of great people.
first
Yeah.
time at Pogo Palooza, second place. Did you feel like when you first got there, you had to like prove everyone, like, hey, I'm not just some random young kid. Like, I'm actually
Oh,
good. Did you feel like you had to
yeah.
prove everyone?
I am 100% like that. Like even when I wasn't, like even before Pogo Palooza, like I did my first gig
Hmm.
before I even went to Pogo Palooza, and that gig that I did was in Williston, North Dakota, with like Michael Mina and us
Hmm.
and stuff. And so when I was there, yeah, every time I get in front of a pogo, like even now that I know they know I'm pretty decent at pogoing, I still have to just get out there, put my feet on everything, do the craziest stuff just to be like, hey, look, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm doing it, I love it. Yeah, like I always like to prove myself to
That's
all of them because like
awesome.
I just look up to you guys, so it's just
How many gigs did you do before Pogo Palooza?
I've only done one, just
Okay,
that Williston one.
got
It
it.
was really fun though. Like I remember we did like 3 gigs at the auto dealership, and then we did like 4, I think, at this like actual festival site.
Hmm.
And the second to last gig at the festival site, I totally threw a fruit roll up in the gig, and like Russ and Mina were like, dude, what? They were like, normally you just do like things that are like pretty big that people would watch and be like, oh, that's sick that you could land every try. But I was just out there trying to throw like the craziest things I could do, even though it's just a gig.
Hmm. It's just like the first few times you're in front of an audience, you just feel like you have to send it.
I know, dude.
Even just like to impress yourself, to impress them. It's like they don't know what you're doing, but like if you feel good, like you kind of just feed off like a hype circle. Like
Yeah.
you feel hype, so the audience like, oh, that must be pretty big. I have no idea what he just did, but that's cool.
I know, yeah, there was this like lady that was like showing us around the whole like festival place, and this was before we were even doing the gigs. I totally just brought over one of my pogos, and like as Will was talking to her, I was just doing like a bunch of double olbses and like all that stuff just in front of like Russ and Mina. I was just like having a good time.
I just gotta
And
throw down. Got that.
yeah,
Got those young bones.
no, dude, it's awesome.
that's that's so I guess that was 2019 your first gig?
Uh, I believe so. Yeah, the
Must have
summer of
been.
2019. That sounds about right. Cause yeah, Pogapalooza was 2020. Yeah,
And there hasn't been any
was
gigs in 2020.
I know, no
Been
gigs. Yeah.
very few things, but hopefully later this year things are clearing up. We'll be back out performing, traveling, seeing
Yeah,
each other more than once a
I
year.
know, dude. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to see you guys again. And we were talking about like I'm sure you probably know, but the talk of like we're gonna make this Pogapalooza like the biggest one we can. Because I think it's 20 years, right?
Is
I
it?
think this will
It
be
might be
the
number
20th
20
one.
because we've had multiple ones. Because we started in 2004, so
Yeah.
we've had 1 year or three. So
I think Cube was saying this is gonna be the 20th one, and that's why he wants it to be like the biggest one. He wants to get like we're trying to get like all the people that are like over like in Europe and stuff over
mhm.
here. and we want to get literally like all the pogos that we can there.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if everything allows it, hopefully
I know.
all the
yeah.
travel's allowed. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, I think. Yeah, there's been a lot of them. I've been to all of them.
I've been to one of them.
Yeah, first one, Pogo Palooza number 1, 2004, parking lot in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Man, don't you guys wait? Didn't you guys have a video on that? Pretty sure I watched like
Yeah,
this
there's
whole video. Yeah, weren't you guys just on a bunch of like GGs
Yep.
stuff?
Yeah, the Flybar wasn't out yet, and the Vertigo wasn't out yet. We had a prototype. We had a prototype Flybar,
Yeah.
and no one knew how to like really jump on it because it was just so vastly different. And then, have you ever jumped on a 1200 or seen a 1200?
No, I have not jumped on one. I've definitely like seen videos of like you and stuff on them, and I know they have like those what is it, like the 8 bands or something?
Well, yeah, the 1200 has 12 of them, and it's bigger than the 800. It weighs about 20 pounds. So imagine 2 Vertigos like taped together, and
V8?
yeah. So just like imagine that. That's how big and bulky it was. So it was so hard to use, and we went from a GG to this. So everyone was just super awkward. It's really tall. It's, I think, from foot pegs to handlebar, it's probably a little bit taller than a medium. I've actually never measured, so it's pretty tall. It used to sit like halfway up my like stomach when I jumped on it.
Yeah, I like only saw them in videos. I've never seen one in person yet. But I noticed that like you used one for like a while, or was it the 1200 or the 800? Like you used one for a while. Like I remember watching the Nick and Fred Pogo Adventure. Like Nick would be using a Vertigo, but you would have the Flybar.
I guess you weren't around for any of this. That's so crazy. That was like the big Flybar versus Vertigo days.
Oh, that's right.
So I was like working for Flybar. I was Flybar's demo team, and I did all their like product testing and all that. So I was only jumping on a Flybar, and just made it. I was allowed to jump on Vertigos, but I just didn't want to be in videos. It's like Flybar was doing so much for me. Like I was traveling all over. They'd give me anything I need. It was my first like Pogo job, and so I was like, I just never bothered to ever get a video. I jumped on Vertigo just a handful of times, and I just liked my Flybar because it was customized, and I had all the good parts and all the new parts that just weren't out yet that everyone else wasn't getting. So my Flybar was just like really, really good, where everyone else is kind of broke a little frequently.
Yeah, no, I'd be like watching those videos, and I noticed that it was like totally measuring up to the like Vertigo. Like your Flybar was like exactly the same. If like you were jumping the same height, doing like all the same stuff, so I was like, okay, I could see why he's still using that.
And the bounces. Have you ever jumped on a Flybar?
No. Like I've only jumped on like their tiny sticks, but I've never had like any, like the 800 or 1200.
That's insane. Yeah, so I'm guessing you have a V4?
Yeah, I have a V4 Pro.
Do you?
I was gonna try to do I was gonna text Ian to see if he could get me like the V5 thing that they all like a lot of them have. But then I decided that I was just gonna get an XL V4 Pro. So that's the new one I got because I just got one not that long ago. Because I have 3. One of them's a V4, and that's my little Ripper, and then the other 2 are V4 Pros, except one's a large and one's an XL.
Just shaft, medium tube?
Yeah, both medium tube.
Nice.
I'm never gonna do like a large tube.
I'm still in a small tube.
Really?
Yeah, I jump on a small tube.
I thought about because the shaft, like the XL shaft, could still fit in a small tube, right?
I jump on a small XL.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So I thought about like getting one because I feel like because my buddy Jordan, he has a small shaft, small tube, and every time I get on it, it's just like, bro, I'm like hunching my back over kind of. Like I don't know.
I guess I was gonna say, did you ever jump on my stick? But no, because I didn't have my stick at Palooza.
No, yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you probably would have maybe liked my sticks. I use riser bars, So it's in between a small and a medium. So I have riser bars on my small tube. But I think because
Yeah.
you're similar height to me, a little bit shorter, maybe. Maybe I might be taller than someone, because I'm pretty short.
Wait. How tall are you?
I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure I remember like when I was standing next to you. I'm pretty sure I'm a little taller because I'm 5'10".
Okay, yeah, I'm like 5'9", so you're right around my same height.
Okay, we're about the same.
Yeah. So you, yeah, I don't know, you probably like my stick. It'd probably feel really weird at first because you're used to a medium, but
Yeah, that's how it always is. Like you like break into a stick, and then it like even if oh man, like there was that time it was 2019, like the winter of 2019 when I had
so long ago.
gotten yeah, when I had gotten or no, sorry, the winter of 2018, then going into 2019, I had gotten the little like the little Ripper, and then I was using that for like the whole time. And then when like the summer or spring and summer hit, I went back out onto my like large. Feels so different. Like you have to like get back into it. You're like, oh man, I was just jumping on that one for so long, and then yeah, like even like when I did that Cali, like when I went to Cali in November of 2020 to do the Cali shoot, we like I was jumping on my large a lot, but I love like all of the other guys' XLs, the
Mm-hmm.
V5 XLs. But every time I'd get on one, it was just like, oh man, this is different. I got to get used to it for a sec. But yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I have riser bars. All the fly bars had riser bars. So when I finally transitioned over to the Vertigo, I did not like the straight bars. Like all the tricks I learned when I grabbed the handlebars, I always have my hands just right on the curve, so my hands always sit just slightly angled in. So like wraparounds and everything, I have like a little bend. So I think it makes wraparounds, like McGrizzes, anything kind of twisty like that, so much easier.
I bet. I mean, I've just gotten used, like, even though I have just like the flat straight bars, like
Mm-hmm.
it still feels pretty easy. Because, like, as you know, like one of my favorite combos is wrap, switch, wrap, McGrizz, switch, McGrizz.
Like
I
it.
love doing that.
It's good.
And just the only problem though is like it's like I can be just fine with like the flat straight bar, but I have I can't have a soft top like anymore. Like I
Mm,
found that just which kind of sucks though because like Ian like their new design that they made with
it's
like the
all
new
built in.
pogo stick built in, and that's what I got. Like the XL has the built-in soft top. The thing is though is like that one's a lot more sleeker, so it's not in the way like the big bulkier one was that you could like take off. So I am getting used to that one, but I just wish that I didn't have it there because even though it's a safety thing, like just not having that there and just having the flat metal cap with the bars, like if I accidentally grab too close into the bars, I'm not having to worry about like holding my hand on the soft top because there
Mm.
were so many times where that would happen and I was like, oh dude, I'm gonna get my freaking stuff rocked. I'm gonna like land bad and just get rocked, dude.
Well, yeah, those tops do a lot. Just ask Mahoney. Just launched in his
I
face without a
know,
soft top.
I
Just like a
know.
lot
I'm
of people
so
got wrecked
freaking
without
mad.
soft tops.
Yeah, broke his jaw seizure. Man, I know it was really brutal.
Yeah,
I
and that's
don't want to be like that person who's like, and I don't want to be complacent, but I just feel like I put my feet on. Like I land most every like I totally freaking I can't wait for you to watch the I don't know if they sent you any of the clips from the Cali
I've seen
like
like one
stuff.
or two, but not many.
Okay. So I finally like you remember how I was going for Mick Kellogg
Mm-hmm.
in like the best so I did it and I did it on Henry's stick and he has like the V5 XL and I was bouncing freaking high and I totally landed that one without a soft top on. Like I feel like I'm pretty good. The pro I feel like I slip out more than I have the stick launch up. Like
So just for reference, I'm gonna try and do these more often. For the people that don't know tricks, can you explain what a McKellogg is?
oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Um so Mick Kellogg, I'll break it down. It's like two tricks in one. I do a switch 180 wrap, and like the 180 wrap is where you do it's like the reverse of an Olbs. You do like a 180 bar spin under your leg to the outside. And then a Mick Grizz is like that 540 whip around under your legs to the outside. So I do a switch 180 wrap, and then right as I grab the bar, after that switch 180 wrap, I whip it straight into a Mick Grizz on the other side. So it's like doing it like I'm throwing the stick that way and then it's going that way. And then I got to put my feet on.
Awesome. Good job. Yeah, I realized after watching some of the videos, we were talking about all these trick names. I'm like, no one knows what any of these are. Like, especially if they're not into Pogo. It's like, no one knows these. So it's like, next time a trick name comes up, I'm going to be like, let's explain it.
Especially when it comes to like the tricks that I have been naming, because like one of the ones I named Fruit Roll Up, like nobody's going to know what that is.
Especially like all the variations, like Bruce Lee and all this stuff. And all the stuff is, Jackie Chan, all the stuff is like 180 wrap, under leg 180 wrap, 180 wrap, 180 wrap. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, like the Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan are just two tricks that you would already know. They're just put together.
Yeah, they're very... So it's, all these tricks are just like...
I feel like in some situations with like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and stuff, it's acceptable to give it a new name, even though it's like an Olb's Light 180 wrap or whatever, just because it looks so cool. Like, but sometimes, like obviously, like if you do an Olb Switch 3 bar, like there's no name for that. It's just Olb Switch 3. Yeah, it's
definitely, it's an interesting thing, naming tricks and how convoluted it can be.
Yep, that is true.
Scooting on back for a second. So the riser bars, which I also like because I have, what kind of grips do I use? I forget which grips I use, but they have little flangey things at the end. So I push those all the way down the little curve right up to the foam cap. And with the curve, my hand, I actually like jumping with my thumb on the foam cap. Since the riser bars, they're up a little bit higher, so I can jump like this and my hands are completely flat. So like you were saying, if you miss your bars and you catch close to the foam cap, I'll land on that little curve and I can still get my thumb on the foam cap.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's
which is
cool.
I don't have any bars up here by me. So yeah, I jump. If you ever look at videos of me jumping, I jump with my thumbs out. I don't know why, but I do.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I have seen that. I didn't realize that was the reason, though. That makes sense.
I don't know when I started doing that or why I do that exactly. Like, I'll jump, and then sometimes before I do a trick, I'll wrap them, but other times I'll just leave them out.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's just, like, it's the same kind of, like, it's, that's why, like, I have my technique. Like, that's why I don't like the soft top, because there has been times where, like, I would be doing, like, a crazy trick, and I would grab two in the center, and I would like have my hand on the metal cap. But since the metal cap is literally just level with the bars, I could literally just easily grab the bar. Because with the soft top, it would literally just be grabbing this big bulky thing, and I would just throw it because I was so scared. And yeah, that's kind of why.
We're gonna have to get you out to Pogo Land and try out a fly bar and try out a 1200.
I know. I actually really want to try those because I really want to know how heavy they actually are.
Oh, it's big. It's big. Like, still, like, 1200 now, if I have it just standing, it sits at my chin.
Oh, wow.
It's big. It's a big boy. I used to be like 5'6", 5'7", so, like, if I had it on my shoulder, it would just drag on the ground. Like the tip would just drag.
Yeah, like even back in 2018 when I first got that large Vertigo, the thing was like, because I was even shorter then. Like, yeah, I was probably, I think in 2018 I was only like 5'6", 5'5". So yeah, the thing was like really up there. It was so weird though, dude. I'm gonna tell you this. I still think this is really funny, and this just shows how much of a noob I am. For the longest time, and this is why, like, I thought that. So when I went onto the Vertigo site to get my first Vertigo, I picked out the medium because I was like, oh, this would be perfect for me. So I thought that the medium meant it came with a medium tube and a medium shaft. So I was bouncing on this Vertigo for years. I didn't figure this out till I just went to Cali to like pogo with all the guys. We were on this like little turf field, and I was like talking to Tone, and I was like, oh man, dude, like I need to get a new Vertigo. Like, this medium is like, I want to get a large shaft or like an XL shaft. And he's like, what do you like? He's like, what do you mean like a large shaft? And I was like, oh, I just want to get like a bigger shaft. And he's like, that is a large. I was like, no. I was like, this is a medium. I ordered this from the website, talked to Ian, and I got a medium. And he's like, you're trying to tell me that you know more about the shaft lengths than I do? I've been doing this a lot longer. And I was like, so you're telling me that I've been riding on a large since I first got a Vertigo? And I just thought it was so funny because like I wanted to get a medium.
You got the Pro, right?
Yeah, Pro.
Yeah, I think the stock ones are medium. The Pro ones have the longer shafts.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And so like I just thought that was so funny because I had just been like riding on this like larger shaft when at the whole time I thought it was a medium. But it makes so much sense now because I would put mine up to like Jordan's who has a small, and I'm like, and like the difference is massive.
Huge.
So I'm like, if this is a medium, what the hell would a large be? But it was because I was riding a large. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, my sticks, I don't even know what I have inside. It's definitely larger than a large, but it's not quite an XL at this point because it's like it was a custom prototype V5 shaft. Maybe one that I made. I think I might have made this one, or I don't know. I made one. I got one from Ian, and I made a couple of them. So it's everything I have is just not stock. I've only jumped on modified things for the longest time, which makes me kind of a little bit of a pogo diva.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only just rode on like the pretty much standard stuff. Like this is the first time, like I guess when I got the little Ripper, that was the first time that I actually had to reach out to Ian and be like, hey, could you, because you can't order a little Ripper off the Vertigo website because it doesn't come with like that small of a shaft. And oh, but actually one question that I would love to ask you, like if you have an answer for me, I've been trying to figure this out and it's kind of like bothering me. I don't know like if it's like easy to fix or if it's just all in my head or something. But when I was in Cali, I realized that like my Vertigo, like it bounces good and it runs good, but like anytime I would jump on like Dalton's or like Henry's, like I have no idea what they did to theirs to make theirs like as stiff it like as they are, but still feel so smooth and get
V5.
so high up. Like I don't understand because like I just had gotten this XL and I was like taking it out. Like mind you though, I haven't cleaned it myself yet, so it's just it's lubricated in the box.
I think it's just a V5 because you have a V4 still.
It like is, I mean, yeah. Well, because I was gonna reach out to Ian to do the V5, but I just thought an XL would like change it.
Yeah, the V5. I'm pretty sure they all use V5s. And that I know Tone doesn't. I think Tone uses a V4.
Yeah, I don't think Tone does.
Everyone else uses a V5.
Yeah.
He's gonna come after you for saying that. He probably won't listen this long in, so maybe he will.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm just gonna need to do is probably just like ask Ian to just send me some like V5 so I could just mod the stick.
Yeah, it's
I was also thinking that it was because I haven't cleaned it myself because I realized that even though you get a Vertigo like brand new mint in box, it's not the same as when you take it apart and like do all the lubrication then put it back together. Like then that son of a bitch flies.
Yeah.
Like you get it out of the box and it's like, okay, yeah, this feels really smooth. But then you clean it yourself with like the Vaseline and stuff and you get it all into that. And then when it like heats it up and stuff, like, dude, like my large right now shreds higher than the XL because like I just have like personally like gone in there.
Did you drill extra breather holes or anything? Just stock,
no,
everything's stock.
I was gonna go to Biff's soon. And I was gonna do that with him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Biff will get you set up.
Yeah, I know Biff. Yeah, he likes that.
Biff is like me. Our sticks are just out there. It's like, all right, I'm gonna just modify. Like, this doesn't need modifying, but I'm gonna modify it anyways.
I know. Oh, that's so funny, man.
Yeah, the V5.
Like, let's see what I can do to this. And you just like put fat holes in the.
I have I have some sketchy pogos that I haven't jumped on in ages. One of them has a breather hole that's like this big. It's gonna just suck in a whole shoe.
I know. Oh man. Oh yeah. Speaking of like that, I still like. I know there's like the thing where like your shoelace can get sucked into the breather hole. I I've never had that happen until I went to Biff's once and bounced some seed. That was the first time I've
Well,
ever.
wait, hold on. What was that? You cut out there for a second. First time.
Oh, so yeah, so I've never had like my shoelace get sucked into the breather hole till I went to Biff's for the first time and I bounced on CJ's. And I just thought that was like pretty odd because like I've never had it where I've gotten stuck in any way on it. But then I literally was going to do one thing on CJ's day, jump, and like shoelace just right into the breather hole. And is there a certain reason why that happens, or is it?
So I'm assuming he's probably has an older tube. So if you look on the older tubes, the alignment of the breather holes don't have anything. So they used to be like kind of equally spread out, and then Vertigo moved them to the front and back, so it happens less often. They used to be right on the side of your foot. So one breather hole used to be like just used to squirt out dirt and oil right onto your shoe. And it was right there next to your shoelaces. So if your shoes were loose, it sucked right in, especially if you drilled them any bigger.
Yeah, I think that is what it was, because when I was trying to get my shoelace out, I realized that like the hole was like right next to like the peg, like the foot peg. And I was like, oh, what? Yeah, that was a good time though. I can't wait to go back to Biff's. Like when I was there, he was trying to break a record, like at his parents' house, like the hydrant record, and he got so close. Like we literally have a picture of him clear, like the grip tip and everything cleared the bar except his knee because of how he clipped the bar. And like we could not believe it, dude. It was, oh man.
Was he on his double tube or?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, he was like going on the double tube.
Yeah.
Which, that thing was crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So that kind of relates back to why the V5s are smoother. Because with did you ever jump on a V3 or V2?
Nope.
Okay. You missed all the fun stuff. So
I know, dude. I was born in the wrong time.
No, you're born in the right time. I wish all these pogo sticks were out when I was your age.
I mean, yeah, true. I do have a lot of like, yeah, the new age especially. Like, who else? Like Duncan. He's like getting up there too now, which is really crazy.
Yeah, everyone. I don't know. I see all his young guns. Like Dalton still is like the new kid in my head. It's like, oh no, Dalton's been around for a long time now.
Yeah, like even like Tyler. Like Tyler is like like even though he's like the youngest of them, he's still been doing it like longer than I have. It was funny because when I was in Cali, I was talking to Tyler and he like told me how when he got into it, he was the youngest, and then he told himself, like he thought to himself he was gonna be like the last like pogoer to like actually get like really good into it. Cause like he just thought that everybody else would probably just like get into it and then like probably just stop. And so he didn't expect like anybody like, because like I pretty came out of like nowhere. Like I was just North Idaho, just put stuff on Instagram, and a lot of the stuff that was on Instagram was just stuff on the Foam Master, and maybe have some Ryan O'Malley comment and be like, "Oh, nice job." I'd be like, "Oh, that makes me feel so good." and then I just totally had a vertigo, and then all of a sudden people were just like, "What the hell? Where did this guy come from?"
Yeah, you popped out of nowhere when I was doing the online stuff. I was like, "Oh, let's try this like online pogo stuff," and like I didn't really know anything about you. It's like, all right, like I've seen your name floating around, and then I saw like the tricks that you were going for. I'm like, who is this kid?
Yeah, that's right. I did have like the 4-trick combo we had. Man, I landed like 3 out of my 4 things I gave.
You just threw down. I was like, okay, this kid's good.
Yeah, and then the one that I did when I was in my backyard when I did I can't remember exactly what the tricks were, but I threw in like a 3-bar late McRiz, 3-bar late wraparound. I was doing like all that, and I landed on the fence.
On the fence.
I sat right down on the fence, dude. That was so funny.
I'm so upset because that
still have those clips saved. Because like
that,
that's so funny.
so that never got uploaded because I was an idiot and the stream actually didn't stream live.
No.
So the key got messed up somehow, so it didn't actually send. Like I did a test stream, it went live. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. And then something happened where the stream key got messed up, so it didn't actually broadcast live. And I never.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to that.
And I never
really
checked it. I never checked it once we actually got going because everything was a little bit behind, just kind of reordering everything. And then I didn't hit record on my computer either, so I didn't record. I realized about 2/3 of the way through, so I started recording, but there's not much footage from it.
Dang.
Which I was super upset about because I was so excited to do that.
Yeah, that was a good one. We had quite a bit of people. Like Mina was in there, and like
Russ.
yeah, that was really fun.
Russ won his pizza.
Yeah, Russ won because dang, dude, he did. That was such a good combo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So I'm gonna try and finish my thought. The air on the like from the V2, V3, V4, V5. So between the V2 and the V3, they changed like the slider design and the foot pegs, and they switched to metal. So like those changes made it so much smoother. And then from the V3 to the V4, they added the cup. So without the cup, it used to just be a flat piece of plastic with a seal around it, and the cup used to be a spacer underneath.
Oh. What?
So adding the cup in, what that does, which I don't know if this is actually true, this is the only thing I can think of why it made it so much smoother, because the air volume, everything's still the same. The cup allows air to get like behind where the seal is. So if this is the seal, it's in that cup. Air is like below that seal. So when you start to jump, it's pressing down below the seal instead of pressing down right at the seal. So it allows that seal to slide a little bit more.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, also, I feel like also if you factored in like with the cup, I didn't realize that the older Vertigos were just a flat. Like I always thought they had the cup, but if because like that cup slides like up and down, so if you put Vaseline around the O-ring and like the two parts where it like goes right along the tube, I feel like that makes a really big difference too, because I remember I was cleaning the Vertigo for the first time and I made the mistake of not putting Vaseline around those like two thicker parts. And so when I put it back together, I was like, this is bouncing even worse than before. And so I was like, what is wrong with it? And then I like reached out to Biff and he was like giving me some like tips and stuff. And then I realized, took it apart, Vaseline right around that. Freaking next thing I know, I was going like 8 feet. I was like, what? I was like, yo, that thing is shredding, dude. Yeah. It doesn't like the V5 though have doesn't like the shaft have like a hole or something for more air?
Little one, Beth, you're being bad.
Oh no. Oh no.
All right, are we back? We're back. All right. The dogs are barking. I don't know if you heard that. I think I muted in time. Yeah, so then the V5 makes it so you have that cup, and the V5 has a hole in the bottom of the cup so the air can go into the shaft. So that's it's increasing the air volume and also increasing the ratio that it's compressing in two spots. So the shaft is compressing at a different ratio than the tube. So as you start jumping, that smaller volume is going to fill up, I think, first, which it's smaller. So it's going to take less effort to get the bounce going. And then you have the momentum, and then you're compressing that bigger volume.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. Do you think though, since they did that with like the V5 shaft, do you think the shaft could like break easier since there's less volume? Like if it hit hard on something, do you think it would like crack and break?
So the shaft is exactly the same as what it used to be. The only thing that they changed was the bottom where the tip screws in. It used to be, they just welded welded that shut, because it used to just be like tack welded in, just a little piece of metal. So then now it's like a little cube that they put into the shaft and weld it to make it airtight. But the shaft itself is exactly the same as all the other. Like if you took a V5 shaft, you could technically put it into like a V1.
Okay. Wait, so would it be easy to just like get like the V5 parts and then just put it in the pogo stick, or does it have to be made like?
So the hard part is, you know how you screw in the cap into the Vertigo?
Yeah.
The cup? So that screw hole needs to be drilled, I think it's to a 1/2 inch. It has to be threaded. And then the cup has to be molded where that bolt goes in. That has to be a bolt that's 1/2 inch thread. So you screw that in and it all connects. I can go grab these parts if you want to see it. That might make more sense if you give me a second.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, I'll go grab all this stuff so then we can actually have some visuals.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh, hey guys.
I'm not sure if he's still recording, but hello everybody. I'm Log. I guess since he's gone, I'll show you guys some visuals too. I don't have any of like my pogo sticks on me; they're in my car. But I like bands. I'm really into music. I got all these vinyls. You could probably already tell that because you could see them in the background. But this is like my little setup. This is one of my favorite bands, Starfucker. This is their yeah, I know. Sorry about the name, but they've got this album called Future Past Life, which it's actually the same album that I have on the shirt, which is really cool. Then I got one of my other favorite bands over here, Mr. Gnome. Mr. Gnome is very underrated. This is the poster that I have of them. This is like another Starfucker poster, which looks really cool. And then yeah, I just have a bunch of other vinyls. Like some of the bands that I like is Tame Impala and also Starfucker.
Oh, we're back.
Okay. I was just giving them a little visual.
Back from the
like
Pogo dungeon.
Yeah, Pogo dungeon.
Let's put this headphones back in. All right, so Vertigo Shaft.
Yes.
So the things that changed to make it a V5, I'm releasing all the V in secrets. This is just kind of tack welded in the corners, and then you can see directly through this.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So this piece ends up just being like a little metal brick that has a thread hole tapped into it, but not all the way through, and that gets welded in completely to make this airtight. Then the top, so this is like the normal top. So you have like, this is kind of what a V3 used to look like. This is from I think this is from a TK8. Same thing, but same idea. So this would just screw right into here. So you'd have it was like flat, and then your cup would be down here, and your foot peg's down here. Oop. Sounds like what a V3 was. So then the V4, it got changed. This isn't actually a V4 cup, but it got changed to the cup. So then the V5, everything's the same on the V4, but the screw that goes in is wider. So then this screw hole gets drilled out wider, so when you put it in,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
the air goes all the way down. Does that clear it up a little bit? Maybe visuals.
Yeah. That's a good visual.
I just grabbed things that looked similar enough, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna grab all these things. They look similar enough, but they're not actually Vertigo parts. Like this is I printed this as like part I printed trying something out. Trying some crazy things out over here. But yeah, the different compression ratios. That's why like the double tube has a smoother bounce, because you're filling up that smaller area first, and then you're filling up the next biggest area first, compressing it, and then the larger volume. So when you're compressing, like, you know, when you're jumping like 50, 60, 70, like that increment, it's like it gets stiffer, gets stiffer, gets stiffer. but that kind of like makes it smoother. So that
I know,
that initial jump is so much easier.
I know, yeah, that was the thing, because like I would, if I pumped up the V4 Pro large that I had to the same amount of PSI that like their V5 was, even though they're the same, mine just felt stiffer, like way stiffer,
It's the
and
initial,
wouldn't
yeah, the
get
initial
fly.
bounce.
Yeah, and those would just fly, dude. Like it was, oh man, I'm so glad that I had like Henry's. Like I'm in love with Henry's stick. Like, and I felt kind of bad because like when we were in Cali and stuff and like hanging out at Braille and stuff, I would just be like, "Can I use your stick, dude? Like, can I use your stick?"
I mean, he had a broken arm. He probably shouldn't have been jumping anyways.
Yeah, yeah, he still had the cast on. So funny.
I'm pretty sure he has a V5.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
Because I remember, I think the first time I met him, he was still on a V4, and he just jumped really high. I'm like, it didn't make any sense in my head. I'm like, I don't understand how small you are and how high you jump. But he was like short back then. Now he's tall, and it makes sense. Yeah, I think you definitely like a V5. It's easy. I'd say if you go hang out with Biff soon, try out his stick. See if he has an extra one laying around just to try it out. And then
There was one that I tried when I went there the first time. I don't know if it was a V5, but it was like this XL, and that was like, oh man, I used that one like the whole time I was down there. Like I didn't even really use mine. Like I was just using that one. Super fun.
Yeah, the downside of the V5 is that the cup can come looser, can get loose easier, and if that hole strips at all, it's going to leak air. So that's like why it hasn't been upgraded yet. It's just a little bit harder to do and not as consistent. So that's why it's only been done in small batches, I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm not Ian.
Neither am I. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah, I've learned a whole bunch in the whole pogo stick world. It's like I know a little bit about engineering and all this stuff just from pogo sticking, just from being in it for so long.
Yeah, there is really like just a bunch of layers to it. Like it's really in depth and super like it's like the best thing. It's definitely the best thing that I've ever had to like experience in my life so far. Like getting to meet like it's crazy how I can like say that some of my really good friends are like people that don't even live close to me like at all. Like I look forward to like meeting those guys way more than I look forward to like hanging out with like any of my friends at like my school.
That's so funny. You said you were born in 2002?
Yep.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
22nd,
So you were 2 years old at the first Palooza.
I know.
And back then it was just like meeting all these people online. It was like a sketchy thing. Like you didn't do that. It's like
Yeah.
you don't meet people online.
Whole stigma of like, that's probably like not a safe thing.
Yeah, because the internet was still like relatively new
Yeah, people
in like
were
2004.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm gonna go do this pogo thing. No, you're not. No, you're not. Like, what is this? It's like, this is some random person. It's like, I'm gonna lure these kids here that like pogo sticks. But no, it actually all worked out.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. Like this is super cool. I love it.
Super fun. So we've been on almost an hour, so a couple rapid fire questions for you, and then we'll call it.
Cool.
All right. So let's see if I remember these without pulling them up. What was the first trick that you landed that was like, oh, I made it, like I'm good at this, like that you made it trick?
I would say probably Mandy, like an actual like full on rising sun, because that was also the trick that took me the longest, and that's why I feel like that's why I made it, was because I was trying that for so long.
Like 2 days?
Finally did that. It was a month. It was a month. Okay. Yeah, dude, that's the trick. Yeah, it is like it is pretty crazy to say that the trick that took me the longest only took a month. Because like I know like a lot of pokers like Nick Patino once I was talking to him and it was before I did stick flip and he told me that it took him like a year to do stick flip. So I was like, oh man, am I gonna be able to do it? And then I did it in a weekend.
It's yeah, that's funny. Like I started trying stick flips on the 1200 and on a GG. So that had to be 2004, 5. And then one didn't get landed. Like I stopped trying. I was like, I wonder if this is possible. I was like, I don't think it's possible. And then Nick landed the one on the Vertigo. That was Pogo Palooza 5. So 3 years later, and then I didn't land one for another 2 years after that. 3 years after that. So
Yeah, stick flip. Like I would say stick flip because normally like once you land a stick flip, it's like, oh yeah, like a lot of the pokers will be like, oh dang, okay, stick flip. But I feel like stick flip has just become the new olds.
Yeah, it's definitely been the last couple of years. That's just the easy trick.
I know, yeah, that's why I would say like a rising sun because like not a lot of people can actually really do like a whole on Mandy and put your feet on. Like you might be able to do a cheat Mandy. But like, yeah, when I did that full on Mandy, that was probably, yeah. Because then that's when Rust was like, okay, that kid right there.
Yeah, Rust doesn't really big.
Yeah, even Dan like acknowledged me. He was like, dude, that's a serious Mandy. And I was like, let's go. Like, let's go.
Yeah, it's awesome. What's the stupidest trick you've done? Doesn't have to be hard, just stupid. Like why did I try that? That was a bad idea.
Inward whip, land in candy bar. Inward whip, land in candy bar. I don't know if you saw my Pogo Duo 2 video, but I got bucked off doing that trick a bunch of times.
Anything
like, I got freaking bodied.
Anything landing in candy bar, I'm a fan of. So I'm a fan of it.
And nobody has done it. Like I'm the only one. I remember like Nick, like Paco was gonna try to go for it, but he never ended up doing it. And anybody that's like tried. Oh, actually no. I think Matt has landed. I'm pretty sure there's an Instagram clip of him just like pogoing in his yard, and I think the reason why he was able to do it is because like if you like watch Matt's stuff, like he inward whips so close, like really in close to him. So when he did it, he was able to just put his leg on. But like when I inward whip, it's kind of like out, and then I bring it back in. So trying to land the candy bar after, yeah, I got bucked off so many times. So that was probably
okay, Turbo.
Thing I tried.
That's yeah. I mean, if I could inward whip, I would try it. But my wrists don't let me inward whip. I swear it's my wrists. They just like they just lock up, and because I've broken both of them like 3 times.
Ah, dang, dude.
If not more. Yeah, I used to break them like once a year for a while. Oh, hi, Turbo. Turbo's hanging out with us. He's like right here.
Oh, hello, puppy. Go, Turbo.
I'll double backflips because I was doing double backflips in every show I was doing. And if I over rotated, under rotated, it's like I'd usually break my wrist because I would just under rotate and I would just come back and then it's like, oh, I can't move my wrist the next day. It's like, okay. And I just stopped going to the doctor for it because I'm like, oh, okay, I know it's broken. I know what I broke. So I'll just tape it up and then I'll be fine in 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, you don't want to spend the money for that.
Totally blame my wrists on why I can't inward whip. I've tried and like it just gets stuck every time.
I get that. I mean, like even though I'm like I can do them really easily and good, I can kind of see because like I know Biff, like you're like the same as like Biff and Russ. They also can't really inward whip either. But I definitely feel it on the outward. Like if you do outward whips, like even though I have good wrists, doing outward whips just makes me feel like I'm like, how? Like why is my wrist doing that?
On the trampoline and I can't like just holding the frame, I just can't get my wrist up. Really like just doing that, it's crunchy.
It's crunchy.
Like I'm not even joking, like I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's not. The microphone's not going to pick it up, but it's crunchy and cracking. It's like, all right.
I bet you if you had a pogo stick in your hand with weight and you do it, it'd crack your wrist.
Yeah, probably. What's an easy trick that you find hard?
Easy trick that I find hard. Probably. Oh, definitely on the vertigo, landing in leapfrog. Like, I have no problem landing in leapfrog, but because vertigos are so big, I feel like it just literally rides up my ass.
So just right in. So reverse. That's funny. Yeah, but you still do all the
reverse, yeah.
all the reverse tricks, don't you?
Yeah, well, so like if I do any reverse thing, like I know how to do 360 whip to reverse. I know how to do like leapfrog and like all that. But anytime I do those, you'll see me on the Little Ripper. Like I can only do that on the Little Ripper.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
I know. Which is, like kind of pains me because I've been wanting to do Canuck flip and reverse front flip, but I can't. Like every time I try to land reverse on like the bigger pogo, all my bounce canceled. Like all my bounces gets canceled. Like I don't know what it is.
I feel like a handful of people that have that same issue, just jumping in reverse on the big air sticks. They just don't like.
Yeah.
I think maybe, I don't know, my stick is so small, I don't mind it at all. It's like I'll jump in reverse.
Yeah, maybe I need to just come down to where you are and just try to do Canuck flip like first try on your stick.
Easy peasy, first try.
I feel like I could get it because I'm like the only person right now who's doing outward stick flips, and that's basically a Canuck flip. You're just
not in reverse. Yeah, you're doing I mean, flipping that around.
Dude, that's such a fun trick to do. Like literally, oh man. I'm so hyped for the Cali edit to come out because I threw such a fat outward stick flip.
Yeah, you were doing that. You were doing it at the box, over the box, right?
Over the podium at Palooza. So fun. That's definitely one of my favorite tricks, probably.
Turbo's like going off over here. I think he wants to go outside. Oh, I said outside. He does. He definitely wants to go outside. Oh, yeah, you're doing that over the podium, and that's just an insane looking trick. Just like, wow.
Yeah, and I know, yeah, because of how the trick works, it's not possible to do it unless it's big. So that's why I love it, because it looks big every time.
Awesome. We can wrap it up there. Turbo needs to go outside. He's going to keep whining until I let him outside. Okay. But this is a lot of fun because I honestly didn't know much about your pogo story or anything, so it's fun hearing about it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Definitely.
I love talking about it. Like if it has anything to do with pogoing,
I enjoy it. Oh, it's so much fun. I've been enjoying these so much. Just getting to talk to everyone, sharing stories, and we'll definitely have to do a round 2 sometime because I feel like there's still so much that we don't know because you're the new kid.
I know, yay. Yeah, it's super cool that you're doing this. Like, thanks for having me on here. Glad that I could be a part of this, and I'm really glad that I'm a part of the pogo community.
Hopefully 2021 is a little bit better than 2020, and we actually get to all hang out sometime.
Yes. All right.
Awesome.
I'm gonna take off, man.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, see you, Fred.
Later.